Greetings! I shall explain my entire hygiene regimen in brief terms. Here it is. When a man named Gene walks by, I say, "Hi, Gene. That's my hygiene." On a serious note, my concept of hygiene is much different from most of present society. First, a simple definition of hygiene: keeping oneself clean to maintain health. Now for some history. Daily bathing in the modern sense was extremely uncommon until the late 1700s. This is documented by history professor Peter Ward, author of The Clean Body, A Modern History. This went for people of all social classes. Louis XIV, who was the king of France for 72 years, is said to have taken only 3 baths in his entire life. People might wash their faces and hands on a regular basis, but not their whole body. Although bathhouses existed throughout history, they were not for bathing per se. Rather, bathhouses were thought of as a place for wealthy people to relax or for people to cool down. As for modern showers, they were not invented until around 1850, and the majority of homes did not have a shower until around the 1970s. Also, on an average of 27 days, your skin sheds and replaces itself with a new layer. This process is called exfoliating. So your body is self-cleansing in that way. I have not bathed or showered in years, nor washed my hair in years. Yet I get sick less often than the average person, and I never had lice. Since I practically live like a hermit, I see no need. Once a week, I wash my armpits, spray deodorant, and change my outer clothes for Sunday morning church. People throughout history changed their underwear every day, but not their outerwear. Though people who come into close contact with others on a regular basis should probably do more, I'm convinced that bathing or showering, washing your hair, and doing other things every single day wastes time, does nothing but increase your water bill, and can be a form of priggery. Besides, on the vast majority of people, only certain body parts get smelly. It's the clothes that primarily harbor smell and dirt. I knew a handicapped man who constantly had very bad body odor and got banned from a restaurant because of it. But it wasn't entirely his fault, as his home lacked a washer and dryer, and he didn't have a car to haul clothes to a laundromat. There are others who have bad body odor due to a medical condition, which smell is harmless. Married people who are intimate are aware that they should use mouthwash, but what they might not know is that bathing or showering might not be enough for their feet. Even if feet look clean, they might have to be scrubbed long and hard and their toenails cut short in order not to smell. And a woman's vagina is by far the most potentially smelly part of the human body. Washing the outer genitalia is usually not enough. To have no smell often requires taking various medicine. Also, I challenge the notion that carpets should be vacuumed every week. Dust mites cannot be sucked away with standard vacuums. Instead, vacuuming stirs up dust mite particles into the air, which people breathe, and which makes things worse for dust mite allergy sufferers. And excessive vacuuming is noise pollution. Instead, allergy sufferers might want to invest in an air purifying machine. My father would vacuum every week, but he would blow his nose into a handkerchief and then put it back into his pocket along with the boogers. And he would smoke heavily. I always use Kleenex. In fact, many people engage in numerous acts of supposed hygiene which are useless while failing to do other acts that are actually important for health. For instance, it's been scientifically disproven that a dropped fork, knife, or spoon is unsanitary. Pick it back up and go on eating with it. Excessive washing has been known for what it is since ancient times. Quoting the Gospel of Mark, chapter 7, verses 2 to 5, when the Pharisees and scribes saw some of Jesus' disciples eat bread with so-called defiled, that is, unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, eat not. And many other things they hold, as the washing of cups, pots, brazen vessels, and tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked, "Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands?" Instead of apologizing and or telling his disciples to do better, Jesus rebuked them. However, before preparing food for others, you should wash your hands. Surgeons should certainly always wash their hands before handling a patient. And you should always wash your hands after going number 2, making a poop. Many men and some women do not, as noticed by the behavior of those using public restrooms. Some make the excuse that public restroom sinks are germier than the toilets themselves and so bypass them. But you could simply avoid contact with the sink counter and basin and wrap clean paper towels around your hands before turning the knobs and washing your hands. And your hands should be dried thoroughly. Bringing your own hand sanitizer is an option. Regardless, I would try to avoid public restrooms by trying to do my business at home first, as public facilities are filthy. Proper hygiene for home washrooms with lever action flush toilets should always involve closing the lid before flushing. That's because the lever catapults unseen mists of human waste upwards toward your face. This is known as the toilet plume. That those with transmittable diseases must be quarantined should go without saying. Getting vaccinated when appropriate is among the most physically hygienic things one can do. One of the greatest hygiene violations is sexual promiscuity, no matter how much you wash and no matter how many precautions you take. This is also a moral hygiene violation among many other types. And moral hygiene is far more important than merely physical hygiene. Quoting Matthew 23:25-28, "Woe unto you, hypocrites, for ye may clean the outside of the cup and platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness." The solution is to turn away from all that and unto the great hygienist, the Lord Jesus Christ. Interestingly, God made a condition of connecting with Christ to be physical water, linking the material and spiritual universes. Acts 22:16. "Why tarriest thou? Arise and be baptized and wash away thy sins, calling on the name of the Lord."